und guten Tag. Mein Name ist Frau Teresa Robinson, and I am your student's German 3 teacher at Rochester High School. And I very much appreciate this opportunity to let me tell you a little bit about myself, a little bit about German 3, and maybe most importantly in this environment, where you can go, you and your student can go to get supplemental information or access documents for this class or anything that might come up in this virtual learning situation. So I'll spend the next 10 or 13 minutes or so telling about myself, who I am, telling about what we'll learn in German 3, what some of the expectations are, and then where we can go to access different documents for the classroom or lesson plans. So like I said, Teresa Robinson is my name. I've been a German teacher this is my 14th year, and I'm relatively new to Rochester. This is my 4th year teaching in the Rochester district. I'm very happy to be here. Before Rochester, I taught for 10 years in the Walled Lake district, all levels of German. This year I teach levels 1 and 3, but again, I've taught all levels of German. I am the German Club co-sponsor here at Rochester High School. Look for more information about how to get involved, how your student can get involved in German Club, even virtually, which is very exciting. I am the co-coordinator of the German American Partnership Program, which is an exchange program between our high school or Rochester High Schools and a German high school or Gymnasium in southern Germany. My colleague Herr Kreitz and I started this program. We're very excited about it and can't wait to fill you in, to give you all more information as time goes on and we kind of see what the situation is with traveling, etc. I am also a curricula developer for Oakland County. I helped to write the common curricula for levels 1, 2, and 3 in Oakland County. So experience with teaching, experience with traveling with students, as well as writing the curricula for Rochester and for other Oakland County schools. Like I said, I teach 1 and 3. When things kind of normalize, I will start my mornings at Van Hoosen Middle School, where I teach 2 sections of level 1, and then I travel over to Rochester High during my prep, and then I end my day teaching German 3 at Rochester High. So like I said, when things get back to normal and we're back face-to-face, I will be available at the end of the day for your students. The beginning of the day, however, is spent at Van Hoosen. I'm a true Michigander through and through. I've lived here mostly, for the most part, my whole life. A couple exceptions being when I lived in Germany for a few years and I lived in Ohio for a couple of years, but I'm always coming back to Michigan. I grew up in Williamston, Michigan, right outside of East Lansing. And the way most people are even remotely familiar with Williamston is you have to drive through Williamston to get to East Lansing. Go green. I lived in Cologne, Germany for a few years, and this is a time in my life that I developed a passion for all things German, culture, language, whatever, and decided at this point that it was important to me to spend my life sharing my passion for German culture and German language to my students and hopefully even beyond throughout the community. Got my undergrad degree at Eastern Michigan University. My major is in German and my minor is in teaching language arts. And then I got my master's degree from the University of Nebraska. And I chose University of Nebraska because it was one of the few universities that offered a master's in the art of teaching German. And that was an exciting opportunity, I thought. So my master's degree is actually in teaching the German language. My family, obviously very important to me. My free time, my favorite way to spend any free time I may have is with my family. We now have 5 kids. We gained a son over the summer. My daughter and her fiance made it official. So we now have Ryan in the family. Emily's the oldest, and then Chandler, Kate, and then the baby in the family is Audrey. Audrey graduated high school last year, and she's now a freshman at Grand Valley State University. And now might be a perfect opportunity to let you know that I've been on the parents' end of this, of the remote learning experience, and I sat through some frustration with her, some frustrating times with this experience. So I really want to emphasize that I have an idea, and I feel like maybe I can even anticipate some of the emotional struggles and then the practical struggles that go along with virtual learning. So please know that, and please know that I keep that very much in the forefront of when I'm planning the activities. And I want to work together to help support your student through this situation. And I'm here if ever, an email or a phone call is needed. Please know that I've been there on the parenting end of it. Then to add to the excitement, we have a couple of furry friends here. We have Sam, the long-haired miniature dachshund, and then Ridley, the crazy yellow lab. All right, Frau Robinson, was lernen wir in Deutsch 3? What are we learning in German 3? This is the schedule. This is the plan. We'll start the year off. Right now we're doing things like review and some what did you do during your summer vacation? And that's like kind of a mini unit to start us out, to ease into things. And then the first official unit will be talking about food and the culture of food in German-speaking countries, and being able to kind of raise the level of our communication in a restaurant situation while in a German-speaking country. And then Feste und Feiertage, regional festivals and celebrations. They play a really important part in German culture, and so we'll learn about some of the major festivals and holidays in Germany, and then some of the not so well known festivals and holidays in German-speaking countries. And then we get to talk about what we really want to do when we grow up. What is our dream profession? What are the advantages and disadvantages of this profession? Then große Städte, we'll become more familiar with some of the major cities in German-speaking countries, and then get to know them a little more intimately, zeroing in, kind of zooming in on some of these big cities and different things you can do in the big cities. And then one of my favorite units to teach, Märchen, or fairy tales. You may or may not already know that German culture and fairy tales, they're pretty tightly related. The German culture and history, and the Brothers Grimm, certainly you've heard of. And so yeah, we'll read some German fairy tales together, expanding our vocabulary, looking at some of the common sentence structures within Märchen or fairy tales, what makes a fairy tale, and we'll learn that all in German. And then Tiere, we'll visit German zoos virtually and get to know some of the words and phrases that will help us learn about and talk about animals. And that's what's really cool. This is an upper level language class, and it gets really exciting because we get to learn content in the language. In levels 1 and 2, it was a little bit more about maybe short phrase memorization and then regurgitating those short phrases. And then level 2, kind of mixing and matching. And I was just telling students on Friday that in level 3 is where we get to really express our personality. Our personality comes out in the language, because we're creating these sentences on our own. They're no longer just memorized and regurgitated phrases, but rather we're creating the language and playing with it and having fun with it. And that's a major difference in level 3. I will spend a lot of time and energy this year encouraging them to take chances with the language a little more and have fun with it. Make sure that there's a way that your personality comes out through German, and also preparing them to take some chances with interpretation, take some good guesses. Like I said, we're learning content in the language in upper level classes, and it's exciting, but can also be a little scary. So we'll all become more comfortable with each other, and hopefully they'll get more comfortable with taking some of these chances in German. And again, maybe the most important part of this time together through this video is making sure that everyone's familiar with where to access classroom documents and lesson plans in case your student is struggling, if your student had to be absent, had to miss a class. everything can be found in our virtual classroom, our Google Classroom. I'm pretty certain that all teachers right now are working in Rochester are working really hard to make sure that everything is accessible and well organized, and someplace that is easy for parents and students to go and check out if needed. We start every day. We start every class in our Zoom time together here. Students know at this point that they log in. I've encouraged them to do it early to allow for technical issues, but also to access this document, this daily check-in form. So they pull up Google Classroom once they've gotten into Zoom, ideally, and then they fill out this check-in form. Unfortunately, we don't have the time for that less formal getting to know you kind of environment, maybe before the bell rings or after the bell rings, to check in. Hey, how's it going? You look tired today. Or, hey, how was your weekend? Anything new or exciting going on with you? We don't have that in this environment. And so this form actually is something that I'm using as a resource to keep up on how your student might be doing outside of just the classwork part of German. Start out with a little bit of German. Hey, what day is it? The days of the weeks, I got them mixed up. So they have to actually look at that and think about what day of the week it is. And then, hey, how are you doing today? In German, a complete sentence. How are you? I'm doing well. I'm not doing so well. I'm tired. I'm bored. Whatever the case may be. And then here, what's new in your life? What do you feel like maybe I should know? Or is there anything that you're super excited about? You want to tell me? Maybe something that happened over the weekend. I have lots of students who got new dogs during the summer. Someone got their driver's like just that stuff, like I said, that maybe we would have talked about before the bell rang or after the bell rang, in normal times, in classroom time. And then, hey, tell me about last lesson. Was there anything that left you frustrated, or is there anything that's unclear? Or maybe you worked on the classwork, the assigned work, and you found yourself pulling your hair out, frustrated. You weren't sure what the expectations were. And this is their opportunity to let me know. All right. So I encourage them to fill that out thoughtfully. And that's how we start class every day. Also important in the classwork tab. The classwork tab is going to be the most important tab. The stream, I might put links to, for example, here we have a Flipgrid assignment, and it's just easier to put the link directly in the stream so they can access it. But basically, this is going to be announcements. All right, not necessarily resources that they need to complete their classwork. Classwork tab, most important tab. These are all the documents. If it's a clipboard, it indicates the little clipboard icon here. It indicates that this is something that they're responsible for completing. Okay, that means I put it in as an assignment in Google Classroom. It doesn't always mean that it's worth points, but it is something they're responsible for completing for us to go on the next lesson. And then important classroom documents. You already should have seen this one right here. I attached it to my introduction letter. I'm not going to go through it right now. I think that I tried to make everything self-explanatory. Please make sure you and your student have gone through this to become more familiar with, rationale for things that I do in the classroom, expectations, how to do things, right? Like how to get into Zoom, although I think we're all pretty good with that now. We've done it a few times. So like I said, I'm not going to go through this slide by slide, but I strongly encourage, please, please, please make sure that you have looked at it and that your students have as well. I've told my students, and some of you have already, your students have had me in level 1, and then I've told everyone already, like, Herr Kreitz and I were on the same page in a lot of ways, and they'll become more comfortable with me, and they'll very quickly come to know that a lot of the expectations that Herr Kreitz had of his students were at the same. We're very much in lockstep with expectations for students. And then here, lesson plan slides. Again, if a student is absent, I ask students to directly, without even sending me an email and saying, hey, Frau Robinson, I missed, can you tell me what I missed? I will send them here to the lesson plan slides portion of our classwork tab in Google Classroom. These are what I use to teach from. These are on the screen the whole time we're together virtually. And everything all materials and activities are linked in these lesson plan slides. We start out with, again, the check-in form, and then we do an overview of what the plan is. Struggling a little bit getting them out before the 90 minutes up. I feel like 90 minutes is an incredible amount of time to sit at one time in front of a computer screen and do classwork. I've told them that I'm going to try to not fill all 90 minutes, or maybe, speak for, be together for an hour and then give them the last part of class to work on whatever assignment I gave them. But it's challenging. There's lots that we want to be able to get to, but we'll continue to work on that. In worst case, I've found that maybe just a stand-up break for 5 or 10 minutes in between that 90 minutes is helpful. But I give them an overview of what the plan is for the day. Again, everything is linked. Then we'll have a warm-up, just a quick check, usually something that's a quick review of the last lesson, the last lessons materials, make sure that the basic comprehension is there, announcements, and everything is linked. So hopefully you can see why this is going to be such an important resource for your students in our virtual classroom. Every time I teach a lesson, I put it right here under lesson plan slides. Again, I encourage you, I welcome, please keep the communication up. I'm here to support your student and to make this experience as positive and beneficial as we possibly can. So far, it's been fantastic. They've been very flexible. They've been helpful. There are times that I'm not sure what's going on their side of the screen, and they're quick to help. And they're doing a really nice job in this kind of awkward screen time, interpersonal conversation, whatever. They're rock stars, and I want to keep the positive vibes going. And so keep in touch with me. Let me know if there are any concerns or questions or clarification that's needed. And with that,